All right, folks, I know we have not posted here in a couple days, and that's my bad, but we are now back, and today I got to give you my early predictions for the college football playoff, right? And I figure we'll do this in two parts. You know, I'll do my early initial analysis, and then the week of, I'll lock in with my official prediction video. So again, all these are going to be in two parts, so stay tuned for both of those. But today, we're going to start by breaking down Texas versus Washington here in the Sugar Bowl. But before we get into that, folks, everyone right now, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe. As you know, we've just started the brand new college football channel, and we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So help us get there by hitting that red subscribe button down below. All right. Well, getting into this game, I think the general consensus among most, I won't even use the term casual, I just think most normal college football fans out there is that, look, Washington, okay, it's been a great season. You've had a great run. It's been a great story. No one expected you to be here, but Cinderella is over now. This is the postseason. This is where the big boys come to play. Texas is going to physically manhandle you. You've been kind of overrated this entire season, and now you're going to pay for it. Again, I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying I think the general consensus among most people not thinking deeply about this game is that. But I got to say, I thought that at first, and then I thought to myself, well, you know, that's what you thought about Washington in the Pac-12 championship, and that made you look really stupid. So think about this a little bit deeply. And the more I think about it, the more I say the opposite. This is far from a guaranteed win for Texas. In fact, I am putting Texas on high DEFCON 1, not DEFCON 2 or 3, DEFCON 1 upset alert in this game. And Vegas, by the way, seems to agree. Okay, because you take a look at the spread in Las Vegas. I mean, they do have Texas favored, right? It's Texas -4, but that reflects they think it's going to be a close game. They think Washington has a very real and legitimate shot to win this game. And again, I got to be honest, I think so as well. For two major reasons. I'll get into the first, which is more statistical and objective, and then I want to talk about something after that that's a little bit intangible, but if you watch college football long enough, you kind of just know the trends and that sometimes this type of stuff does happen. But first, let's look at the stats, okay? Here's a big advantage that Washington has in this game, because I think most people assume they kind of look at Washington like the little underdog team, so they say, what matchups does Washington really win? Well, what do you think of the identity when you think of Washington football? Obviously, it's Michael Penix, Odunze, and that prolific passing attack, right? That's the stereotype of Washington football. By the way, in this case, perception is 100% reality, because when you look at the rankings here, Washington has the #1 ranked passing offense in all of NCAA. Okay, and you look, they've averaged 343.8 yards per game, 4,470 passing yards all season. With a few notable exceptions, no one's really been able to confidently shut down this Washington passing attack. So will Texas be able to do that? Well, here's the contrast that I think is very concerning for Texas. Again, Washington, #1 ranked passing offense. You look on the flip side, Texas has the 95th. That is very close to the bottom. 95th ranked passing defense in all of NCAA. And by the way, this is considering the fact that, yes, they've faced some decent passing attacks this year, but with the exception of Oklahoma, and I'm not going to count Alabama because I don't think Alabama was the same team in week 2. So really, with the exception of Oklahoma, really have not faced a passing offense even in the same stratosphere as Washington. This is a huge matchup issue, in my opinion, for Texas. And if Washington does manage to, give Michael Penix enough time to throw, because I will say I do think Texas physically matches up on the front lines very well against Washington. But if Penix just has enough time to throw, because keep in mind, they said that same thing about Oregon, right? Hey, Oregon's more physical. Same thing about Texas, right? But if, again, Penix just has enough time, I don't trust this Texas secondary to keep up very well with the speed of Washington and their receivers. So that's point here number one. And then on the flip side, I don't know if this game does turn into a high-scoring shootout if Texas and Quinn Ewers really have what it takes to, keep up, okay? Because Texas has a pretty decent offense, don't get me wrong. But I think when you watch it this year, it's just not as dynamic necessarily as Washington is. So if I were to trust quarterback versus quarterback, offense versus offense, if it's that type of duel, and if it's the high scoring game that I think a lot of people might think it is, I think Washington has the edge there in that game. I think if anything, if you're Texas, you really want to be able to run the ball well, underneath little passes, kind of dink and dunk sort of offense. Just keep Washington's offense out off the field. Keep your defense rested, especially your secondary, because I don't think they have the speed or the stamina to keep up with Washington if they're forced to play a very long game. Okay, so that's point number one. Big reason why I have Texas on high upset alert is, again, the matchup there doesn't bode well. Point number two, though, again, I said the second one, something a little bit more intangible. Here's a question to both Texas fans and neutral observers. Do you trust Steve Sarkisian in the big game, in the postseason? Why do I ask that? Well, it's just kind of been a general trend of Sark, not just at Texas, but even back in the USC days, by the way. It's always been a problem with him of game management, of sometimes just not getting his team up to play when he needs to, or they'll start fast, but they don't finish fast. They'll get out to a lead, and then like you saw in the Kansas State game, they almost blow it at the end. I just don't know if I trust Steve Sarkisian in this game. Whereas on the flip side, you look at Washington, Kalen, DeBoer, this is a team that has been underestimated all year because, hey, they're not blowing out people like they should. But I would also point out that in the two biggest games this year, which have been the Oregon games, that team came to play. They don't get caught sleeping when it counts. And by the way, even in the games where maybe they did get caught sleeping a little bit, especially the end of the season with USC on the road, they still took care of it, closed out the game. Oregon State, that rainy game, found a way to win. Washington State, same story. This team knows how to find a way to win. And I think in this postseason, like I said, you're going to see the type of Washington team you saw in the Pac-12 championship, where they just have that extra gear that you didn't see in every game in the regular season, but when it counts, they turn on. Okay. So that's another place in which, from just a coaching sort of preparation, getting your team ready to play perspective, I have to say I trust Washington a lot more than Texas. So with that said, what is my prediction on this game? Well, I got to be very careful with this, because when I predicted Oregon to win the Pac-12 championship, I looked really stupid, and I said to myself, not going to make fun of or count out Washington ever again. But at the same time, it's a pretty bold take a lot of people are going to make fun of if I outright predict Washington to win. So how do I really feel? Well, since this is my initial prediction, and again, like I said, the week of, I'll do the official prediction, I'm just going to pick the safe option now and then decide week of how my gut feels if I want to change it. So for now, here's what I'll do. I'll pick Texas to win. I'll just take Washington to cover for the heck of it to demonstrate I think it's going to be really close. But keep in mind, that is not done with any degree of confidence, okay? 51% at best. And in fact, I'll tell you right now, there's probably a 50-50 chance that I flip that prediction all the way to Washington on the week of this game when we do the updated prediction video. So that's how I feel about this. Again, right now, I'm just going to very timidly pick Texas just because, I don't know, better team, favored, whatever. But know this, I'm not confident in it, and I might change it. With that said, folks, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think my concerns about Texas here are justified, or do you think I'm being silly and Texas is going to run away with it. Washington's so overrated, bro. Let me know. But with that said, folks, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you later. God bless. Stay tuned. We'll probably have the Michigan-Alabama one out tomorrow. And peace.